Fun fact, and it's true, and it's not even close. I'm Markus Granlund, working for a small MSP in Finland, in Helsinki. My job is to try to avoid putting our customers' APs in the wrong places. And I have two principles for going about this. Number one, in order for something to be design or planning, or whatever we choose to call it, there has to be more than one solution, like two at least. And the second is that sometimes we need to have no solution. We need to liberate ourselves from the stubborn idea that we are right and our plan is right. And this, so if we think about the important tools in our job, we need to sum up a lot of stuff. Even if we like RF or Wi-Fi, there's a lot more to a project than that. There is money, there's an architect somewhere, there's somebody who has to build this. Christine Krokmu had a pretty good case about this yesterday. Not everything is perfect in our world. So, the most important tool in our job is the phone. We need to ask everybody what's going on. We need to know Tom Carpenter's what, how, and why from everybody. For ourselves, the second most important tool is putting our own ideas into this, because once you do it, you're okay. So the idea is in design to reach a solution which is the least miserable for everybody, right? And we want to keep the RF or Wi-Fi as good as we can. Now, let's go to a simple case. We have a floor plan. Using Ekaha, we have sort of figured out how it should be built, but not really. We get on site, and we didn't have any reflected ceiling drawings or anything. We had the hardware on site, 2 weeks to finish the project, and we had nowhere to put the APs. This is another picture from the same place. So, what do? We had to get rid of the plan and the idea and start again. So we have 2 weeks time. Now, let's get into, we have this imaginary company existing inside our company that does all our internal R&D, and my employer is sort of looking through their fingers when I'm tinkering with stuff. So I'm happy with that. So we came up with the idea of a suspended AP. And we had Aruba hardware on site, 345s, and we just needed to hang them somewhere in the air. Now, if sort of to open up a bit how people are wired, an example from rowing. I have 2 kids, and I'm super scared of being in a boat with people who can't row. My kids are 3 and 5. It's like being in a car with your mother, basically. So I need a rowing boat for my kids, right? Any reasonable person would go and buy a boat like this, right? No. You go and download all the 3D modeling software you can find for free for boats, study a bit about rowing and boat building and hydrodynamics and whatnot, use this a lot, and then everybody is happy, right? Now, if you're wired like this, do you think it's impossible to have an AP hanging? No. We put them up. It was not a pretty solution in an installation way. It worked. Everybody was happy. This is the test rig in our office. It uses the standard wire suspension stuff that light manufacturers use. We have a bit bigger caliber here in the ceiling lamps, but it's stuff that you can buy off the shelf, and it worked. But at the same time, never again. We had to bolt in 4 bolts in a strict pattern into the concrete, and I will never have anybody do it again. So, simplify. We continued with this project, and at the time we were working with Aruba and Meraki, so we had to have a platform that could accommodate the 2 APs. So next we had this manufactured. We installed some of them. It worked fine. It was based on a laser cut piece of sheet metal, and then you could fold it up like origami, and it would end up like this. It was nice because it was super simple. We only had 3 cables, and it was symmetrical, so the same part mounted on both the AP and in the ceiling, so that we could attach it with 1 bolt only, and everybody was happy. But as it happens, it wasn't that good. We needed to, and seriously, now we're coming to what we call at Brutus the more universal mount. Brutus, by the way, he was a sort of politically active democracy guy from the Roman Empire. But anyway, do you have zip ties in the US? Okay. How many of you have ever used a zip tie to put up an AP? Okay, we have some honest people here. Anyway, we wanted to make it fly, and then we wanted to have a semi-professional way of actually strapping it to stuff, any AP that we work with, because it's sort of fudging going through the original mounts. I don't like it. It doesn't end up very good every time. Now, this involved a lot of this, of course, as you can imagine. And then this is the first install going on. Well, we'll get to how it works later, but we still have the lightning quick adjust wires working for us. It's the only part that has stayed the same since the beginning. So, the 101 on this one is, it was built in-house for our needs, and it sort of, we haven't had any thoughts of like starting to manufacture things for everybody. It's just something that happened. The idea is that it has to be very simple to install. We are currently using one concrete screw to install them, no plastic, just a hole and a sort of structural bolt. It hangs and it straps to stuff, and the first install is literally under 2 weeks ago. So it's just out of the place where we make them. Here you can see there's a picture of one hanging. This is pretty typical. The ceiling lights are hanging by the exact same wires in this place. So it fits. There's a lot of beams. There's a lot of installations. No real ceilings to fasten anything to. This here is a picture of one strap to. I think it's cooling water pipes for a cooling system. But anyway, the parts are quite simple. We have one plate that either bolts on or bolts onto the bracket that come with APs, and then we have a ceiling plate that goes into the ceiling, and then we have the wire set. Now, I have a few last words, but this is important. This is the question we ask all the time, and then we have the fire in a dumpster. There are some people working for vendors here, so I think you should go into a pool and be allowed out only after you have standardized something. So, like, I mean, we could have a stock of our favorite mounts, whoever makes them, whoever makes the best mount, whatever. I mean, we could prepare for our installs. It would be nice. So, pool time for you today. I borrowed this slide from Steven Heinzius. He has this slide set of how to fail in Wi-Fi. I asked for permission, he said it's okay. I made it to number 6, so you might be in trouble for listening to me. Thank you.